Hello everyone and welcome to DownUnderSteer, bringing you the latest Formula One gossip, news and race reviews. Joining me today is Formula One aficionado Jem. In today's show we take apart the Chinese Grand Prix and we take a close look at the latest Formula One news. First up, we've got Guess What Corner This Is. Last week, Jem.
Overwhelming response for this one, and it was Catalonia turns 1 and 2.
Next up, we've got a new one for you. So, what have we got there?
Okay, this one might be a little bit more difficult, and the hint is the stands are empty. Pam just guessed Abu Dhabi in the background.
That would have been a good guess for probably... Did you see it?
Well, it's a good guess because the stands are often empty there as well.
So moving on to the news, we've got controversy still around next week's Bahrain Grand Prix. It does look set to go ahead despite protesting of the Bahraini people and some notable Formula One names. All the teams are agreeing to go, although not many of them are making it very vocal.
Personally, I don't think they should go.
I'm happy if they didn't go. You know, we don't want to see any suffering in countries which are participating in an international sporting event.
Yeah, exactly. And not getting all political, but the leaders in Bahrain can use the fact that the Grand Prix is going ahead to make the claim that everything is going all right in their country when quite clearly it's not.
My reason for wanting the Grand Prix to go ahead is purely selfish. I just want to see more F1. Mark Webber quoted last year, "When people in a country are being hurt, the issues are bigger than sport. Let's hope the right decision is made." Webber also the only driver this year to have stated his feelings on the record about going back to Bahrain. Lotus had protested the new Mercedes Super DRS technology prior to the recent Chinese Grand Prix. The FIA did dismiss the claim and the team is free to carry on using this innovative technology.
Now that it's been given the go-ahead, I think we'll probably be seeing this device being fitted to most of the cars over the rest of the season now.
It asks the question, how easy do you think it is for the teams to implement this type of thing halfway through the season?
Well, I think with this particular technology, it's going to be pretty difficult. It's going to take a while for the teams to kind of integrate these air channels into the monocoque of the car. Most teams are going to have to go that route because, clearly in qualifying, it gives Mercedes a massive advantage.
That's right. Of course, during the race, though, DRS only active for a certain part of the lap when the car is trailing the car in front by 1 second.
Let's move straight on to qualifying in the Chinese Grand Prix, and obviously it was a bit of a Mercedes benefit, certainly from Nico Rosberg's point of view. He put down a lap for his one run in Q3 that was so far ahead of the rest of the pack that he was out of the car before anyone else even attempted their final run.
Yeah, it was funny seeing him strut down the pit lane after that. Especially since he's never been on pole before.
No, supremely confident.
To his merit, though, no one got anywhere near that pole time.
No, the closest was Hamilton. He was a good half second behind.
We've said this at the start of the year, but the performance gap of all the Formula One teams has definitely narrowed a lot. The qualifying 2 session at China was a classic example of that, where we saw the top 16 cars covered by approximately 1 second.
Yeah, and for me, Q2 was the most exciting part of qualifying because we never knew who was going to get knocked out and who was going to make it into the top 10. And like I said, with 16 cars covered by 1 second, it was so close. You need to lose 1/10 of a second on your lap and you could find yourself back in 13th place.
Someone that isn't used to finding themselves dropping out of Q2 was Sebastian Vettel.
Yes.
Not able to make the grade and he ended up starting from 11th on the grid. Right, so moving on to the race. We've had some pretty awesome races. I know there's only been 3 this year, but this was just a gobsmacking race to watch. One particular point which I just found amazing was seeing how close the field was. There was one point later on in the race where there was a battle for second place going on, which involved 10 cars all on the pit straight at the same time. There was a great photo looking down the straight and seeing all of these cars just right next to each other. It was fantastic to see.
It was brilliant. That was the end of lap 43. We had Rosberg comfortably out in front, but Raikkonen in second place, and then behind him was Vettel, Button, Grosjean, Webber, Senna, Hamilton, Maldonado, Alonso and Perez. And we kind of saw these close battles up and down the field throughout the entire length of the race.
We saw the teams deciding whether to go for a two-stop strategy, which did end up being the right ticket if you could make your tyres work. However, the teams that were on a three-stop race, we saw them fighting their way through the field, where the overtaking didn't seem as easy as it did last year.
They changed the length of the DRS activation zone, and it was pretty much too short this time. All the overtaking that we saw in this race was due to the difference in the tyre compounds and where people's tyres were at any given time when it came to overtake. Because I remember at one point we heard Button's race engineers saying that a whole bunch of other cars are on Plan B as well, including Jenson Button. So I think Plan B for them was a three-stop strategy. And it makes me think if McLaren had stayed with a two-stop strategy, would they have been able to win the race?
I saw an interesting thing on the race footage, actually. There was a shot of Rosberg's pit board just sitting up against the pit wall there, and it had written on it, Rosberg pit on lap 7. Something like that was the indication on the pit board.
Okay, that's
And they just had it leaning there with the pit guy just casually, standing next to it, and I firmly believe that was some Ross Brawn shenanigans going on there, trying to sell to the other teams that Mercedes were bad on their tyres, and known to be.
Before the start of the race, everyone assumed that Mercedes would be falling back through the field. Pretty much everyone did. I mean, I was expecting.
I thought that too, yeah.
And the fact that they didn't was very surprising. Nico Rosberg didn't pit until lap 13, and he started on the soft tyres. So he went longer than pretty much anyone else on the soft tyres in the first stint. The fact that Rosberg made it to lap 13 on the soft tyres, and he was maintaining a good pace as well, that was the first indication that Mercedes had cured their tyre degradation problems. Speaking of two-stop strategy, it was Kimi Räikkönen, and it probably didn't work for him at all. And I got to say, I was also very disappointed for Kimi Räikkönen, because after qualifying fourth, many were expecting him to be fighting for the victory. Up until sort of lap mid-40s, he was second and comfortably so, but he had pitted for his medium tyres on lap 28, and when they went off horrifically.
Yeah, they did. Everyone was just making a meal of it. Of course, helped by this massive DRS train, which really he was leading at that point.
Yeah.
So he just got taken by every single one of those runners that were at the pointy end of the field.
Yeah, from second to 12th in the space of 2 laps. Let's just talk about Nico Rosberg. He's his first ever victory in Formula One. I guess we should say something about that. People have been expecting it for a long time. He's always been a driver with a lot of potential, and he's been one of these drivers who's never had the car to be able to showcase his abilities. He joined Williams 2006, and in his first race with Williams in 2006, and he was actually a teammate of Mark Webber, he set fastest lap. And many was thinking that this could be the start of, something pretty spectacular.
I think he scored points in that race as well.
Yeah, he did. He came 7th. Yep.
Yeah.
So he would have scored 2 points at that stage. But over the next 4 years with Williams, as the Williams car slowly
started to really die a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. He picked up 1 podium position in 2008 at the Australian Grand Prix.
It's good having 2 German drivers in a German team as well. It's got to be good for them, and I'm sure it's huge for the German fans as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton at McLaren, all British team. The year before he joined Williams, 2005, he won the GP2 series. And he was driving alongside Lewis Hamilton.
Of course, yeah, they were teammates. And then,
but obviously Rosberg made the jump to Formula One a year before Lewis Hamilton did. And we should briefly mention Sauber qualifying 3rd and 8th.
So after their quali of 3rd and 8th, they actually ended up finishing 10th and 11th.
Yeah, they faded badly.
Not so good.
No.
To the contrary of that, we've got Williams, who qualified 13th and 14th, and they came through to actually finish the race in 7th and 8th position, getting 10 points for the team. Good work. In conclusion, I think the real key to this race was the team strategy. I mean, we had teams out there on 2-stop, we had teams out there on 3-stop. Nobody knew which was the right way to do it until the race played out, and it did make for some fantastic viewing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great race. I mean, the tyres is really what made this race so entertaining. And as you say, the difference between the 2-stoppers and the 3-stoppers, and how once it all shook out and all the combinations of strategies converged over the last 10 laps. Tyres were going off, people were making crazy overtaking. It was brilliant. It was a great race.
And let's hope these tyres can bring a bit of excitement to Bahrain and we can get over some of the nervousness which is going around about the next race. Speaking of which, we need to make some picks here. Now, what happened last week?
I picked Schumacher for pole and Hamilton for the win, so there was a fail across the board for me.
The bets were made before Hamilton got his 5-place penalty.
Yes.
I picked I picked Hamilton for pole and Webber for the win. So we're not doing so good here, guys. We're still sitting on 1 point each. We thought we were off to a good start, but it actually turns out that we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
So, picks for Bahrain.
Do you reckon Mercedes can do it again?
I reckon they can get pole, certainly. In fact, I'm actually going to go, Nico Rosberg for pole. I'm going to pick a McLaren to win. I'm going to say Button.
Well, I'm going to go for Hamilton for both pole and the win in Bahrain.
Right, okay. There we go.
So thanks again for watching, everyone. We appreciate your support. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Facebook, search for DownUnderSteer, and we'll be looking forward to bringing you the next show after the Bahrain Grand Prix. Until next time.